Once upon a time, there was a boy named Peter who lived in a little village in the mountains with his parents, who were sheep farmers. It was Peter's job to watch over the flock and protect the sheep from wolves. Day after day, Peter sat on the mountainside watching the flock. It was very quiet, with no one but sheep for company. No wolves ever came to eat the sheep. Peter got very bored. He tried to amuse himself by climbing rocks and trees or by crawling through the grass and counting the sheep one by one. 1, 2, 3, 64, 65, counted Peter. Oh, I wish something exciting would happen. I'm so bored. Same old mountain, same old sheep. Finally, one day, Peter couldn't stand being bored anymore. I know what to do, he grinned to himself. He started shouting at the top of his voice, "Wolf! Help! Wolf!" Down in the village, a man heard Peter's cries. "Quick!" he shouted to some other men. "We need to help Peter. There's a big wolf attacking the sheep." The villagers grabbed their axes, forks, shovels, and brooms and ran up the mountain to where Peter was shepherding his flock. When they got there, puffing and panting, all was quiet, and the sheep were grazing peacefully. "Where's the wolf?" one of the villagers cried. Peter roared with laughter. "There's no wolf. I was just playing." The men were very angry with Peter. "You mustn't cry wolf when there isn't one," they said. That night, Peter got a telling off from his mother and was sent to bed without any supper. For a while after this, Peter managed to behave himself. He climbed the mountainside with the sheep every day and watched over them quietly. The villagers soon forgot about his trick. Then, one day, Peter got really bored again. He had already run up the rocks, climbed the trees, and counted the sheep 10 times. "What can I do now? Same old mountain, same old sheep," he groaned to himself. With a sigh, he slumped to the ground. As he was sitting there, an idea popped into his head. He picked up some sticks lying nearby and started banging them hard together. Then, at the top of his voice, he shouted, "Wolf! Help! Wolf! Please hurry! There's a big wolf eating the sheep." Down in the village, a crowd of people started gathering when they heard the loud banging and shouting coming from the mountainside. "What's all that noise?" someone cried. "It's Peter. He's in trouble," shouted someone else. "Quick, there must be a wolf on the prowl." Once again, the villagers grabbed their forks, shovels, and brooms. They ran up the mountain to chase away the wolf and save poor Peter and his sheep. And once again, when they got there, puffing and out of breath, all was quiet, and the sheep were grazing peacefully. "Peter, what's happened?" shouted one man angrily. "There's no wolf," laughed Peter. "I was only playing." "You shouldn't make jokes like that," said another man. "It's not good to lie." The villagers marched back down the mountain toward the village. That night, Peter got an even bigger telling off from his mother, and once again had to go to bed without any supper. For a few days, the villagers went around moaning about Peter and his tricks. But after a while, the incident was forgotten, and Peter continued to climb the mountainside every day with the sheep. He had decided that he would try and behave himself, especially as he didn't want another scolding from his mother. A few weeks later, while Peter stood counting the sheep as usual to pass the time, he noticed that some of them were bleating nervously. He climbed up a tree to take a look around and see what was upsetting them. To his horror, he saw a big, hairy wolf. The terrifying creature was creeping through the grass towards the flock with its jaws open and its long tongue hanging out. Peter could see the wolf's sharp, pointed teeth. Shaking with fear, he started screaming, "Wolf! Help! Wolf! Please hurry! There's a big wolf about to eat the sheep!" A few people down in the village heard his cries for help, but they kept on with their business as usual. "It's only Peter playing another trick," they said to each other. "Does he think he can fool us again?" And so nobody went to Peter's rescue. By nightfall, when Peter hadn't returned, his parents became concerned. Peter never missed his supper. Something bad must have happened. Peter's father gathered the people of the village, and together they hurried up the mountain, carrying flaming torches. A terrible sight met their eyes. All the sheep were gone. There really had been a wolf this time. Peter was still in the tree, shaking and crying. "I cried out, 'Wolf, why didn't you come?' he wept. "Nobody believes a liar, even when he's speaking the truth," said Peter's father, helping him climb out of the tree. Peter hung on to his father all the way home. He never wanted to see another wolf ever again. And Peter finally really learned his lesson. He never told a lie again, and he always got to eat his supper. The end.